Welcome everyone here. Let's stand and say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First up on the agenda is regular meeting minutes for February. So looking for approval and vote.
I'll move that they be accepted as is.
Okay, second.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Who has the general bill?
I do.
Okay.
Vouchers 23 through 39. One of the larger being,
You got
You got the
am I sorry? Wait a minute.
You got highway.
You got highway. Yep.
Did someone make a mistake?
Okay, so continue on. So we're doing
Yes.
the highway bills first.
Yeah, yeah, highway.
Okay,
Go ahead.
let me start over again. Is it still vouchers 23 through 39? Yes. And so the larger being the Robert Green Auto and Truck Incorporated. It was a Dodge 4500 Ram purchased. That was $101,695.57. We also had a large amount for Cargill sand and salt, $4,043.29. Total being $135,416.12. I'll move they be accepted and paid as
Need
is.
a second on that?
I'll second that.
Second, Sarah. Any discussion on that? So the truck we have, but we got that last month and that was pre-approved. So that's all been paid for, but this is the vouchers, catching up our paperwork. So with that, if there's any other questions? Those in favor of accepting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, Sarah?
Okay, I reviewed vouchers number 37 through 74, totaling $36,895.45. It was a little bigger list this time. Sorry it took me so long to get through it. Just a few extra bills in there, but one of the big ones that made it so big was the $8,000 payment to the architect for the plans. That seemed to be the biggest one out of the ordinary in there. So I move that we pay vouchers number 37 through 74 for $36,895.45.
Second.
Kevin? Any discussion on any of the bills? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Monthly reports. Need a motion to accept the chiefs, the clerks, the code, the dog, and the supervisor.
I will make a motion to accept the chief's clerk code, dog, and supervisor reports for February of 25.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Those in favor of receiving, say aye.
Aye.
The chief did stop, fire chief, and gave his apologies. He had another very important meeting he had to attend to, so he wanted to stay, but he couldn't, so he just said, gave his apologies, and I absolutely was gonna feel bad about it. He would try to cancel it, and I said, no, there's not much he can do. So we got Ed here so we're going on to the privilege of the floor. Ed, is there anything you'd like to?
No, I'm just here as, last time I was here, I was the Cub reporter when we first started the Homer News.
Okay.
This is, so I'm back. That's scary. And anyhow, I'm here from the village, so if there's any questions, because we work very well together and we want to make sure it's continuous. And that's why I'm here as Pat Clune, except I'm better looking. Just saying.
Pat said he had a better offer tonight. I can't imagine what that could be.
All right.
That's what he thought.
Not in this town.
Privilege of the floor. Anyone else? Okay. Highway superintendent.
Yeah,
He's had a busy month.
yeah. I don't know, what do you wanna start with first, the truck?
No, we'll do the truck last. So do everything else and then the truck will be a separate motion.
Yeah.
Give us an update what you've been doing this last month.
Yeah, plowing, we finally got, the weather's finally changed for us now, we've been doing tree work all week. We'll be doing sweeping here soon, probably on the 24th, the week of the 24th, we'll be getting into, we've been doing potholes, fixing potholes. We've been going through a lot of equipment. Thank you for helping us out with that. As we get into spring though, we'll be doing shoulder work, signs, all that stuff. Coming up, talking with Suco, other outfits about doing road work. But a lot of maintenance. Getting some proposals together for equipment. We've got some equipment that needs some attention. We've been getting stuff together for the facility as well. But our day-to-day stuff, if it's not snowing, typically we'll plow. We're doing a lot of that stuff, but working on the trucks, maintaining the trucks, and that's a big, these things need a lot of work, some of these older ones. So we'll plow, get out, wrench, plow, get it, and that's just, so we haven't been able to do much more than that, or we have. Cell phone, we're getting a cell phone for the office number, so if you need to get a hold of somebody, it'll be, you won't have to, it'll come right to my phone.
Got it.
It'll be a cell phone.
We kept our
got
town
the-
number and we transferred it to his cell phone. We bought a new town cell phone that we approved last year,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
we'll keep our 749 number and it'll go right to Kyle now,
Yeah.
whoever has the phone.
And my other number, you have 2 numbers per phone. So, got the office gutted and painted, computer,
Time clock.
time clock,
Wow.
We're getting into the 21st century.
Yes, we
It's
are.
getting scary.
and I've been talking with some residents when we do tree work. We've been, like I say, we've been doing tree work this week. Cutting back the vegetation is bushes, trees. So I've got a bunch of proposals for, we have a tractor, our main mower, we can get into that as we go, but we're gonna need to do some, in my opinion, some equipment stuff to get up where we need to be anyway. But if anybody hears any, if there's any questions or comments, concerns, or anybody hears of any, just reach out. I'm learning something new every day. We want to improve things and do giving it 100% one day at a time.
Usually the town residents aren't afraid to let you know if they got something on their mind, and we'll certainly share it with you if they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I can piggyback on that, Barry, I have something.
Perfect.
Warden Joanne Ducal has sent me, impressed with the road maintenance on Break Hill Road, thank you. Okay.
Oh,
That's your
awesome.
Break Hill
Okay.
residents.
Awesome.
So people are noticing.
And I'll go on record. I lived up there next to you for 15 years now. How long you been on the hill?
Long time.
Probably the first time in 15 years I've seen a truck up there that many times.
Well, that's awesome.
Doing a good job. Well, I notice it now on Sweeney Road, so
And
they're busy
we're-
up there.
I appreciate that, yeah. It's, if, we're putting a lot of thought into, when we have to go out, we're thinking ahead constantly. I've got a plan together at 3:00 in the morning before I get there at 3:30. But
You gotta learn to sleep, man.
I haven't had a day out, and that's, like I say, we're gonna 100% every single day, but I'm finding my way. And, but when we get like big, especially this time of year, when the snow is melting and the ground's frozen, we'll have water problems. And there's 6 of us down there, but we can't be in every spot at the same time. So we're, or when it rains hard. So that's why it's a kind of, if you hear somebody or but we're very trying to be very proactive and stuff.
Got it.
Suggestions or,
We'll keep you posted if we hear.
but yeah, thanks a lot, Mike, for my son's huge help. We have, a lot of equipment in the shop and getting ready. Anyway,
No, we appreciate it, Kyle, you're doing a great job. Kyle and I have been working together, strategizing where we need to go with equipment and stuff, because we gotta, we have a budget. We have to live within our budget, so trying to figure out what's the most needed and what his long-term plans are, so that's coming together nicely, but he hasn't had too many free moments, because they've been plowing every day almost nonstop.
and I've got proposals for some other stuff. I don't know, I was talking with, go to Mike on everything and kind of one thing at a time, but we are working on.
Yep.
So
So we're gonna put a list together, is what the plan is, and then flesh it out, what's the most needed. Because like, we do have a limited amount of money too that we can spend, so we'll figure out what his biggest need is, and he's gonna tell us that, and then we'll start picking it off, maybe 2 or 3 years before he gets everything on his dream list. We'll just start working towards it, and,
It's like an example is we have a tractor that, it's got a 5-foot mower. So when you overlap into the road, you're mowing 4 feet at a time, 120 miles of road to mow. It takes Dave, he does a great job, he goes slow, he's good on equipment, but it takes him all year. So you're paying a guy all spring, summer, fall to do that one thing. And he's gotta make 3 passes. By the time he gets done, he's gotta start in again, so.
Is there a better way?
And the mower throws the grass into the road. I can't, this is bananas to me. We need everybody run, not that we have to follow a script or any other town, but a flail style mower. And I've got 5 different proposals from an outfit out of Syracuse that we're gonna, so it's gonna cut time down, it's gonna be easier mowing, better product, it's gonna cut down on the guy, you'll have to pay the half the time type of thing. Plus, we haven't been doing vegetation management, that stuff's getting out of control on their seasonal rent. So, we don't have the equipment for this stuff, and we can rent stuff, but renting these are $10,000 a month to rent.
No, wow.
So, putting together some stuff, met with John Deere and some other people. But we have put a lot of thought into it, so it's nothing that we're not taking, we're taking it serious.
start bringing proposals forward. We got one next. Any more on that part of it?
No.
Now we're gonna jump right into a new truck that he's requesting. So go ahead and explain the truck.
Yeah, it's a Chevy pickup truck. It's gonna be replacing the 2 pickup trucks that we put on surplus. So this is from McGuire, state bid. It's basically a work truck. It's got a couple upgrades, the seat, some lights. But the total is $61,509. If we want just the truck.
No, we're gonna do the upgrade.
He gave us, this Cody Rose is the commercial manager for McGuire, and they have an awesome maintenance program, and they'll take care of us with this stuff. But he offered, they give this stuff at a reduced price to municipalities. It's a 7-year, 100,000 mile bumper to bumper. These trucks are so, a headlight can be $1,000. Or computers, they're so expensive to fix. So $2,750 extra to get the 7-year, 100,000 mile bumper to bumper. I thought that was
Probably not a bad deal.
for
Right.
20. We did the math on it earlier, and it's like.
Yep.
And then there's a 5-year or 20 visits maintenance program for $1,000. They do all your oils, all your filters as needed, get it up on the lift. They do grease, visually inspect it, they go right through it. So 5 years or 20 visits, whatever comes first for $1,000. there's the fuel filters on these new Ram pickups. They're $151 for just the fuel filter.
Wow.
Now that's on a diesel, but that's not gonna be, this is a gas truck as well. We're getting rid of 2 heavy-duty diesel pickups. One of them is just, it's, the other one Mike's helped us get. So we'll get some money for these 2 that we put in surplus last time.
Yep.
The only thing is we have to order this truck. So if we add the warranty package and the maintenance package, and then because we have to order it, the price could change a little bit at the time of ordering it. He redid it again for me, a quote, and it went down $10. So he said, to make it easier for you and your board so you don't have to come together again, put another $2,000 on this. That way, if it does change a couple $100, you won't have to get a board meeting. We talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about it, and then he came up, Cody came up to the shop and I talked to him. So our total price, so we had 2 prices here, so if we, truck was $61,509.43. I think it's a great idea to add the $2,750 and the $1,025, because you can't service it for 20 times for $1,000.
No.
So, and they'll even come and pick up the truck and deliver it back home.
Plus, yeah, no, it's
Can't beat the
Did they give
deal.
you one on the?
I don't say it's, I know, probably, I didn't get into that, but it was too.
Pickup's great, it's good.
So that brings it up to $65,284.43. So that's what we're looking to pay. But my recommendation is I'd like to approve $67,000. That way, if there's a little variation, because the way they explained it, they're only allotted so many build units per month. So he won't know till the build unit comes up in the next week or so. Wasn't that what he said?
So that's the reason why he won't.
It might change just a little bit.
Allocation's twice a month.
Yeah.
So it might change.
Just a little bit. So
It
I'd
went
rather.
down today,
Yeah.
$10. Well,
I'd rather make sure we're well within, so if we approve $67,000, and then when they get the bill, we have the exact price, but we can get it ordered 3 to 4 months to receive the truck. And it may come in sooner, but he's saying plan 3 to 4 months on the outside. It ain't gonna be like this Dodge that we went through a year and a half later. This will be done in 3 to 4 months, and quite possibly, he said it could be done in a month, but he'd rather tell us worst case.
If they're building that, but
So
the other thing, we'll have the other 2 trucks, it'll be replaced with the other 2 trucks, but this thing's gonna be taken care of as well. This is something that we can.
Tell me a little bit
I'm
more
gonna be in-
about it. Is it a 4-door?
It is a 4-door. I got the spec sheet here. It's
What's
a
the-
4-door. It's gas, so it's gonna be. Right now, I'm running a 1-ton diesel. It's gas, 4-door pickup. We can get the whole crew in it. It's a 2,500. I got the plow prep package in case of later we want to put a plow on
Got
it. It's got bed liner. The upgraded stuff. This stuff comes as a package. Some of this stuff. It's an LT, which is up from the work package.
Mhm.
It's got a 10-way adjustable seat. And if I'm gonna be in this thing every single day, I'm tall, so I was like, get something that's coated. It's got cloth seats, rubber floor. It's got upgraded headlights. It's got lights in the mirrors when you put it in reverse. So it's not, plus the state contract gives you more money on an LT, which is the next trim up from a work truck. They only give you $1,700 on a work truck. They give you over $3,000 on the LTs.
Don't fall asleep with that 12-way seat now.
Yeah. Well, and I showed, I said, what are you, am I? But again, like I say, I haven't had a day off since the 1st, and I have no problem with that, but I'm in this truck checking roads in the wintertime. I get up at 2:30 in the morning. I leave at 3 o'clock, and then we could get no snow overnight, but our windy spots will be 4 feet of snow.
Huh.
So I have to check roads is what I call, every day.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll be in the thing a lot.
Got it.
It'll be taken care of though.
Oh, yeah, well, we need the truck and it's, like you said, you're in it, you're gonna be driving it for the next 10 years. Don't wanna hear back from you for 10
Maybe,
years.
we'll see.
Anyways, so we need a motion to approve this. So I'd like to have a motion made to approve up to $67,000 for this truck.
Can I do the motion and separate it out?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so, Kyle, thank you for that work. Just to back up what Kyle said, the maintenance plan is a winner as far as I'm concerned, and the 20 visit thing over 5 years is a winner. So I would really like to articulate that
Okay.
in the motion. So I make a motion that we authorize the supervisor to purchase a truck from McGuire for a base price of $61,000, on state bid, for $61,509.43 with the option of the 7-year, 100,000 mile bumper to bumper extended warranty for an additional price of $2,750. And also the additional option of the 5-year 20 visit maintenance plan for $1,025. Total purchase price not to exceed $67,000. I would make that motion.
You a second on that?
I'll second that.
Any other discussion?
What color?
65.
Yeah, what color? What color?
It's gray sterling metallic.
Give it back, I don't want the motion.
I've had white trucks 5 in a row, and I said I'm done with white.
But he is gonna get our fancy logo on there. That's the only thing I told him. I want this fancy logo put on the side of that truck.
And I looked at bare bones trucks, and they were anywhere from $6,000 to $5,000 for a regular cab bare bones.
Yeah.
Can't get the crew in it. We can make that's the other thing, we can make anything work. But this stuff is gonna it's gonna, in the long run, especially this mower and stuff, maybe not so much the pickup, it's gonna just, in the long run, it's gonna save us money on some of this stuff.
So we got a motion for $67,000 to buy this pickup. We got a second. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Call him tomorrow and tell him get it coming.
He wants a text message tonight.
Text him.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Text him, go ahead, text him, tell him to get it coming, send us any paperwork that he wants signed.
And then tomorrow, okay.
Motion approved.
I'll talk tomorrow, but it's gonna have McGuire requires,
They need a down payment?
they need approval from you. They need,
Yeah, I'll give it to
They need
them.
to know from the board or someone who represents the board that it's been passed.
Yep.
They can't take my word. They've gotten in trouble with that before.
No,
Nothing we
okay,
did.
I'll call him and talk to him tomorrow. We'll talk tomorrow and I'll talk to him.
Yeah.
Just like I did for Robert Green, they had to send me the invoice, I had to sign it.
Yep, so
We'll take care of it.
that way they know it's been, the money's there, they know it's
Okay.
been approved. And nothing we did, but.
How exciting. Nice.
But,
So just to give you another little update on this, since Kyle's still here. So the 2 trucks that we put in the surplus last month, that we put the surplus, he will put one to auction. The other one he's gonna have to drive till his new truck comes in. And that would be the Dodge 3500. That's a 2017.
Yeah, 8. So and that truck it's just, it's starting to rust out and stuff. So we'll get probably a pretty good,
Should get yeah.
but it's the same thing. The Rams are hard to find parts for. The steering's starting to leak. It's a good time, in my opinion, to get.
Right, but he's got something to drive till his new one comes.
Sure.
So we're good there. So any other questions for Kyle?
Watch it every day.
And anything in the department, and I've said this multiple times, and on day one, it wasn't day one because they were off on day one, but Mike came down and we sat everybody down, and everything is to be taken care of from starting off, we had a big discussion with everybody, and Mike was there, and said, hey, moving forward, everything's to be maybe not washed every day, but we are, yeah.
Taking care of them.
And these guys are great. We've been greasing everything, looking over everything. Mike's up to speed on the stuff we've been fixing. He's been doing a lot. And,
So that's good, yeah, so we're moving right along, so we'll have a lot more to start reporting here, or Kyle will,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm a
on prices
little
and-
new to this, so I'm trying to figure out my way to, maybe I can write a report out, so I'm not, but, I'm putting a lot of thought into this stuff. So
Good.
I appreciate it. Appreciate all the help.
Okay, thank you.
Having some after motion thoughts.
Yeah,
We went through some unpleasantness with the last truck where it was a very, very long time. Do we want to put a time certain end on that, just to be,
I asked him that question and he assured me 4 months would be the maximum. This is a Chevy versus a Dodge. And it really wasn't the Dodge, it was the dealer. He had the truck
Right.
sitting there and didn't and procrastinated.
okay, so I'm just saying. if we-
When I had the conversation,
That's a
Cody had him
Thank you,
come,
Kevin.
yeah.
We've, thank you for bringing that up. We have discussed that, and yes, thank you.
We can write it into it. I can make sure that's wrote
It's
in.
probably a
Right,
good
contract,
idea.
we have the ability to cancel
Yeah.
after 120 days, okay.
He needs this truck for next winter without a doubt, so we gotta get it here. Yeah. Good point. Anything else for, okay, so we'll move on. Thank you. Clerk's report. Update, whatever you want.
I also will give kudos to the highway guys because they have been at the town hall doing some housekeeping chores around the town hall. We purchased shelving upstairs in the balcony for our files, and the guys, we got it delivered to Homer Ironworks. The guys went over and picked it up. They brought it here. They brought it up to the balcony. I want to say they were 150 pounds per box, 5 shelves. They were here maybe an hour, and they're set up and they look awesome upstairs. They left us room so you can actually walk through it like a library, so it's really nice. They also put the memorial bench for Colleen Reynolds out back. When you guys walk into the town hall, you can see it. They moved that out there for us. They put up the assessor's mailbox in front of the assessor's office, so that will help them with, having a little bit shorter of office hours than the town hall. So if people have something to drop off, now they can do that. So, the highway guys are always super helpful and very quick to help. All we have to do is ask, so we appreciate them very much. Donna, our third clerk, has been crushing it in the office. She has dogs and assessables already, all the files are already done and weeded out. She did the code files for property, zoning board, and planning board. So all of those are now out of Mike's office and they're in Kevin's office. She redid the whole property files. She, she just consolidated them. We found a lot of room that we've needed just to put more stuff there. So she really has been a ginormous help for Brooke and I. And we love seeing her, taxes, we put our balancing report in everybody's packet. We're almost up to 90% of taxes collected. We're under $1 million left. We kind of are anticipating being busy tomorrow and Friday because the second payment is due Saturday. Or it goes up, another 1.5%. So people take it seriously to come in and stick by our time frame. And we kind of noticed it today that it was picking up a little bit more than it has been, I guess. But other than that,
The other thing I noticed too, that Donna, so when I took over as supervisor, I inherited about 2,000 keys. I didn't know we had that many locks in the town of Homer, but I inherited, so we got a key safe and we've been trying to do it for the last year, but Donna actually had the keys out, so I think she's starting to tackle her
She
key
is.
situation, and
Yeah.
we're gonna have them all locked up and nice in order, and maybe we can figure out what all these keys go to. I have no idea, but if we can't, we're gonna get rid of a bunch of keys.
You guys said she's part-time, right?
She's only
Yes.
part-time, but doing a heck of a good job, yes.
Yes.
And our two ladies here do a heck of a job too. They're always busy, friendly, and we get more compliments at other towns, other people from, would rather come here and do their business than go to their own towns. Because we're open, they're here, they're friendly, we work back and forth with Maureen in the village. I mean, they're always sending people back and forth. So we just got a great system going here, great working relationship, and appreciate these ladies so much. They help me out so much. Help Kyle, and then
Yeah, I hear stories from, we go to these schools in other towns and that's something I just wanted, there's nightmare stories about the highway department's not getting along with the supervisors, board members don't get along. So this is, yeah, awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
all is good there. So the one thing some Saturday, I'd like to get the board together just to take a tour. I want to show you the upstairs. The village fire, police department's been building their room. It's almost complete. So part of that is with their room up there. Now we got our shelving in there, so we're getting better organized. So one side we have our shelving, the village has theirs on the other side. But it's quite a room up there. So I think once that gets a little more completed, we ought to take a Saturday and look at that. I'd like to take you over to the town highway department, let Kyle show you the building, because you guys never really seen a tour of the building. See what our equipment is, see the building, see his updated office. He's got a nice looking office now. He needs a chair though. I mean, I sat in his chair and I got a piece of bungee cord holding the back up. I'm like, come on. So we're gonna get him a chair and maybe a desk, but.
We need a before and after picture here.
Yeah, so, and look at
Yeah.
that, and then maybe we'll take a quick tour of the downstairs. So we'll schedule that probably next month sometime before, when it warms up a little more.
if, I would prefer, if you guys can come down, I would like that.
Mhm.
And I've thought about it.
Yeah, we need to do it when you're there
And I
and
can just,
show them the equipment, show them everything that you're up against, yeah.
to Mike and Kevin, we're not complaining in any way, and we're very thankful for what we have. But it's gonna give you an idea of what we're up against.
Got it.
So, but
Oh, good.
so we're all good.
We'll get that scheduled,
Yep.
but I'd really like to set up a time where we can all go. It won't take us long, if we could just invest an hour and just see everything. We do it in the afternoon, in the morning, or
Sounds good.
whatever works. And, and we can, anybody else that wants to tag along will be welcome to. So we're gonna move on to our personnel policy. I know we redid this last year in July, so I got a couple changes in here, and they're not really changes, it's just it wasn't spelled out. So if you open your booklet, page 5. And all it is doing is, it's just putting in writing exactly what we're doing. I got it in yellow. The following town hall employees, including all hourly, town clerks, highway superintendent, are paid bi-weekly, all others are monthly. That was never spelled out, so there's questions about that, and legally, we should have it spelled out. Dan looked at the wording, you were happy with the wording, right? And that was the only change that was in there. There was a couple little typo errors that we had made, and didn't change anything other than spelling a word here or there right. I'm not the best speller in the world, but the girls picked up on that, so that was changed. I'd like a motion to accept this wording, and then that'll become our revised, 3/12/25.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the proposed changes on page 5, paragraph 14, as stated by the supervisor. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second. Any other discussion on that? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So like I told you before, this is I consider what they call a living document. We need to be reviewing it and ready to update it, and not let it go 20 years before we update it again. So, we've made this little change this year, and if you guys see something, you're reading it, or something changes, it's simple to update it as we're going along. And we're having other towns wanting our copies of everything, so we're passing it out to some other towns, which is, we're more than happy to help. Okay, so we got, our renewal, I got on here, renew our town hall landscaping contract, where is that here? So that was Phillips Landscaping. Last year, we put it out to bid, and no one else replied back to it. Unfortunately, Caleb can't because he's part of our board. So we, Phillips, he runs the bowling alley, he's a local businessman. He did it last year. It really comes under the $1,000, so we meet all the requirements, and we did try to get more than one bid last year. We didn't do it this year, just because there's nobody else really out there, but it does meet our requirements, our procurement policy, because it's under $1,000. So I'd like to hire them to, just like it says, they're gonna service our beds, trim everything, keep it weed-free, and then they'll have true green, we'll spray the flower beds, fence line, twice. There's no Portland County tax, of course. Does it sound good to you, Caleb? I mean,
Yep.
that looks fine.
Yep.
So I need someone to make that motion if they would.
I'll make the motion that we accept the bid from Phillips Landscaping and Snow Removal for $9.98 per year.
Okay. Second on it.
Second. Go
Any
ahead.
other discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So the other thing we did talk about with Phillips is he's there, he says, you know, it doesn't look, he'd like to put some color. In other words, some other plants and some colors. So I said, give us that to a separate price and talk to our ladies in the office because I want no part of it.
We don't want you to have a part in it.
Good, I'm glad. I'll stick to what I do and they can figure out what they want to do. You know, we're not gonna go crazy, but they'll come back with a price on that. But make it look nice around here. I mean, our village looks very nice and I think this is a very important part of our village and let's keep it looking good.
Sure.
So you let him. Okay, our outdoor lighting, as you know, we've been fighting, we changed a lot of our lighting on our outdoors a few years ago and, we've been fighting with them to get it's an automatic billing and Fred's been working on it 2 or 3 years and unfortunately for me, he kept working on it. We were talking and, so we kept working on it and finally they come through. We're gonna change our billing. So we got a $12,700 credit. So for the next number of years, we won't be getting a bill on our outdoor lighting, because I don't think they're gonna cut us a check, but it doesn't matter as long as we get it. We get it. But, again, thanks to Fred and the ladies here, because they kept harping on them and sending them and talking to them and complaining. But it took over 2 years to make this happen.
Do they pay us 1.5% on the,
You betcha, Kevin. It's just, the downside too is when they put all these smart meters in, so our town highway department, you know, since Kyle took over, they're using electricity like there's no tomorrow. Nothing's changed over there, but when you go over the 2,000 mark, so we were 2003, then we went 2002, I think it was, and then we're 2016. They're threatening to put a demand meter in. And what a demand meter is gonna almost double our price of our bill because it's commercial. Yes.
Is the usage going up? It's gone up, is that what you just said? It's going up? The usage is going up?
It went up, came, and then it's now starting to come back down, which I tracked 3 years. It always goes up in the fall because you got all the doors shut, you got the heat on, the lights are on longer.
It's going up and down, but overall, is it up?
No, for the yearly average it isn't, but they put these smart meters in. I'm gonna write them a letter. I've been talking to our electrician, Tim Smith, and consultant. He's the one who put generators and stuff. He said, we'll write him a letter, and he's gonna help us. We'll write him a letter, say, look, we're a municipality, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed in 3 years. They pulled me out 3 years worth of bills. We're right on track where we've always been.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on here. I don't wanna get us on a demand meter if we can help it, because our bill's gonna go up almost double.
We gotta pay for those smart meters.
What's that?
Said they gotta pay for those smart meters.
Yeah, so we're gonna be fighting that. I can't guarantee we're gonna get it through, but that's what we're facing right now. So we are working on that. We'll get into you, Kevin, sorry. So our CCE, our energy audit, remember we talked about that? We got the $15,000 grant. Those guys are relentless. Every couple of weeks I get an email, what are you spending this money on? What are you spending this money on? Last email I got from them, well, we'll help you figure out what to spend this money on. And they're, just relax, we're taking care of it. So I've been talking with Kyle, and that's the money we're gonna spend over in the highway department. So there was 5 or 6 things we could spend it on interior lighting retrofits, which we didn't really need. Exterior lighting retrofits, which we really didn't need. A new temperature control system. We do not really need that. Installation of insulated doors, bingo, we need that. Installation of domestic hot water pipes, we really don't need that because our hot water tank to our sink is high heat. So, and air source of heat pumps and stuff. And that to me didn't make sense because we're heating 2 little offices. We're heating Kyle's office and we're heating the bathroom, and we got a furnace in there. Part of what they said though, even if you went to air pumps, the heat course for air pumps, we could have air conditioning, but Kyle doesn't need air. I don't want to give him too complimentary. So I want to give him an air conditioner. We'd still have to have an alternate source of heat because sometimes these heat pumps, but Barry gave me a little bit of education on there. So chances are they would work, but I still don't think that's our best bang for our buck. So Kyle, and thank you, Kyle, for that. He's been working with 3 different overhead door companies. We're going to get prices on replacing 3 uninsulated doors. So if you remember right, that's what I want to show you is we got our main building and then we put an addition on. When you put that addition on, and I don't know why, there's 4 doors. One's insulated, 3 are not. And they're not even tall enough. So we're getting a price on replacing the 3 doors with insulation, and we're going to raise them to the height. So we'll bring those numbers back, but I got to give them an answer here. This fits their criteria. So once I get all the numbers, I'm going to submit it to Macerta here, and they will approve it, and then we can pull the trigger. But we're going to probably have to put some town money into it anyways, which we know we're gonna have to do some of this.
That would be a good, if I can add to that.
Yes.
That walk around, if everybody came down, we could show you this building and what our DSR are on it and stuff. And it'll help with everything.
Any other questions on that one? So once I get the grants, I'm just gonna put it in and get them to approve the insulated, because there's nothing else. The other study that they did, and I told you that before, if we did everything here, if we went through and put all new lights, new heat, new everything, which we don't need to do, we would spend $99,000, what they projected. And there's an 89-year payback. It would take 89 years to pay back a $99,000 investment, which makes absolutely no sense. This is New York State, what can I say? So we're not doing all that because we don't need to do that. We're gonna change what we really need to change. Our main heating systems are fine. And if we do need heat pumps, we'll talk to Barry and get a little more, if we have to upgrade in the future. But right now, we got heat, everything is good. So, just to give you an idea. The next thing on our agenda is the fire department donation, or, I don't know how else to phrase it. I call it donation, but Dan said we should call it what? So, shared service.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like a shared services type arrangement, but I'd like to put together like a intermunicipal cooperative agreement just to memorialize, why we would be giving that money, what it's to be used for, stuff like that. Keep it simple though.
Yeah. So tonight, what I want to do is approve the concept. So I would like us, as the town of Homer, to donate to the village of Homer $10,000 towards their new fire truck to help them out. They're buying a specialized, and the chief was here last month. That truck is going to be better served in the whole town because it's 4-wheel drive, and it's going to get to areas that require trucks.
It's mostly for you.
Yeah.
Because it's brush fires, and we don't have a lot of that in the village. So the truck is kind of for the town.
Yeah.
Well, we'll use it, but I mean, it's for brush fires and stuff like that. So it's a good thing for you guys to help, so thank you.
So we want to help. It's not a huge amount, but like I've been explaining to everybody, we got trucks we have to replace. We got $1 million or dollars and where we're going to be spending downstairs for the police department. So again, it's shared services. It's a good thing. We want to support our fire department. So I would just like to approve the concept tonight. If you guys are good with that concept, Dan will put something together that we can formally adopt. And part of that would be that the 10,000 will stay in our savings until they're ready to purchase the truck. And that may be before they get it, because there's a build time on this, correct?
Yeah, it's a year or something, I don't know. Yeah. It's a nice truck. And I'm pretty sure we ordered it the other day.
Okay.
Said to go for it.
Okay. So I would like a motion that we approve the concept and we won't approve the final amount to them. Because I don't want Dan and everybody to write this whole thing if you guys are opposed to it. So that's why I wanted to put it out here tonight. Or I'll make the recommendation, the motion that we approve the concept of $10,000 to the Village of Homer towards their new fire truck with Dan writing the final approval motion, resolution.
I'll do an IMA
Okay.
so that it's spelled out.
Intermunicipal cooperative agreement.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So if I can, can I just add on, can we just authorize the town attorney to drop a municipal shared services agreement with a dollar amount up to $10,000 for the purchase of a fire truck with the Village of Homer.
Okay, so Kevin makes a motion, that's good. Yeah,
Okay with that?
I'm not-
Okay.
So we need a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So that'll be coming. So just a real quick here, we had a New York State labor thing, they were just checking paperwork, they're checking the municipalities, laws have changed. We didn't have everything in 100% compliance, we're in 100% compliance now with just paperwork, it was nothing serious, there was no OSHA violations. It's just posting municipal paperwork that we hadn't done. I should have known better because of my own business, we have to do it, and I just never dreamed that it would carry over to the municipality because we're such a limited workforce here.
You jinxed it.
So, what's that?
You jinxed it.
What can I say? But at the same time, we were ahead of the curve on some of the other stuff they were looking for because I knew that had to take effect. So we're all in good shape, no fines, no nothing, we did it, we worked with the village as a matter of fact. So we share, and that's stuff that we share again with the town and the village, we share it, so it makes it easier for everybody. That's all done, but I just wanted to bring it up, so we dealt with it.
Did you want to receive and file and remedy made?
Yeah, it may not hurt.
I'm making all the motions tonight.
That's good, Kevin, keep it up.
I'll make a motion to receive and file the notice from the New York State Department of Labor regarding compliance and to note that compliance has been remedied and actually I probably should let somebody else do it.
Close enough. You get a second on that?
I run out of steam. Does everybody understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those in favor of accepting that, say aye.
Aye.
And I'm not repeating it.
What he said.
I know.
It's what he said.
I know. I'm done.
All right. So our town hall, lower level, the remodeling project, we had a meeting with our engineer / architect a couple of weeks ago. So he knows we're not happy, I'm not happy, but anyways. So we're moving forward. He brought me a booklet, we went through the booklet, about this thick. Nothing to do with the building other than specs and the procedures and everything. So we got that straightened out. So we're getting ready to go out to bid, but with that, that's the update there, but I still have not heard back from them when I'm gonna have the exact prints, but I'm gonna push them, I want them this month. I wanna get this out to bid. I talked to a couple local contractors that bid on this in the past for the downstairs, and I asked them what were their thoughts if we put this out to a spring bid, because I was convinced I wanted to do a fall bid because we get a better price. He's saying right now the activity is not that great out there because after the elections, everything hasn't cycled through. So he said, absolutely bid it because he thinks we'll be all right. So as soon as I get that paperwork, we're gonna have to have a quick meeting. We're gonna review it and then get that out to bid. But I want everybody to agree that this is what we're bidding on, right? With that being said, okay, I'll let that go to a little bit further. Any questions on that part of it? We've got a lot of meetings this last month, stuff that happens during the days here. So the court audit, again, I just want to update you guys, you'll be doing the court audit.
I keep asking Caleb when he can do it.
If he's dragging his feet,
He wanted to do it last Friday.
Well, of course he's.
He wasn't here, I don't know.
He knew you weren't here.
We'll get to it, I'd say mid-April, okay?
Okay.
We'll get it done.
I just wanna bring it, keep it your time.
It's on my short list.
So now we're getting to the meat of it, Kevin, thanks for hanging in there. So our planning and ZBA, we wanna set a limit on the variance time, so you'll see that in there. So who wants to speak on that, Deanne or Kevin?
Go ahead, Dan.
All right, we kind of talked about this a little bit last month, but Kevin and I talked about it. There's been some questions about expiration, time limits on use and area variances. So what's happening right now with there not being a time limit, with those not expiring, a property owner could be issued a variance and they could sit on it for 2, 3, 4, 5, as long as they want, many years. And then next thing you know, you've got them constructing a house maybe where it doesn't belong, or doing a use where you think it may not be appropriate anymore because things change over time, circumstances change. So we talked about putting a time limit on that. I drew up a proposed law that puts a 12-month time limit. So from the date of issuance, variances would expire 12 months from that date. I think it's a good idea. I don't want to speak for you, but I think you think it's a good idea too.
Yeah, basically what it does is, like Dan said, if people are sitting on variances granted by our boards and they don't do anything, local laws, building codes, other zoning restrictions can change during that time frame. If they're issued it without any sort of a deadline, then they're basically building against whatever those current local laws or codes may be. So this is just to help protect us, to keep things in line with whatever the current laws are. So I think it's a great idea.
Pay another fee at the end of that term?
Revisit.
I would revisit just because, circumstances change, like Kevin said. I think it's best to put them back through the process.
It'd be a whole new application.
Yeah.
Larry.
Quick question, so
Yes.
if you get the variance and it goes on for too long, you're saying they can build under previous codes?
They can build with the variance that they were granted, Kevin, and the variance, when it's granted, is based on what's local, what's
Current circumstances.
current circumstance, current laws.
Yeah.
So because the municipalities will change laws, the other zoning regulations and things like that change. We don't want that to get too far away, so.
Construction and everything like that, would you consider like an automatic extension or a 2-year thing? Because building anymore is like takes years.
So, yeah, so the building part of it itself, state law allows me to write a permit good for 1 year. Renewable up to 2 more years.
For a total
of 3.
Okay.
If it's not completed in that time frame, then it's up to the code officer to determine whether they're gonna make them reapply for a whole new permit or not, or continue to grant them an extension. Okay? So, but in the meantime, the way the rules are written is, if you come to me for a permit and you don't do anything within that first year, I have the ability just to pull the permit all together and make you start back at square one. This is building permits.
Right.
Okay, so yeah. Yeah, the activity has to be started. Typically, it's within the first 6 months, but by the end of the first year.
And then the timing goes on the building permit schedule, meaning the 2-year renewal.
Correct. Once the project's started, you're good to go, as long as you show activity on your project, but that's a building permit. That's not the variance. These are 2 separate things.
Okay. Getting through planning boards and things like that, I mean, we're looking at 6 or 8 months in a lot of things.
Not really.
You
No.
sure?
Yep. We've got ourselves a system down to where it's usually completed through the pipeline, all things considered, within 2 months.
Okay. All right, I consider something longer than 12 months. I don't want to do 12 months. Do I have any support for that?
What do you wanna do, Ken?
I would like to talk with Kev more, but I don't want to slow the train up. But I think 12 months into construction, everybody's calling me, okay, and we're taking months and months and months to do stuff. So if somebody gets a variance for something, and again, I might be talking a little bit out of my wavelength here, but if somebody gets a variance and you get meetings that are canceled, you get meetings that people don't show up, and then all of a sudden you're redoing and redoing and redoing, we eat that 12 months up in a heartbeat.
I would assume that if somebody's in that kind of situation and they're working on it and they're trying to get it going, you're gonna allow them to extend it, you're not gonna make them start over again.
Do you see?
Again, you guys were talking two different things here.
No, I ain't talking the variance.
Okay, so the variance itself, yes, if they don't start the project within that year's time frame, then
That's after the variance is issued.
after the variance is issued.
Then they
So
have a year.
the building part, if there's a building included in this variance, there may not be. If there's a building tied to something in the variance itself, then again, your building permit, once the variance is granted, your building permit's good for a year.
So you basically got 2 years.
According to the.
One,
To renewals.
again,
I'm sorry, guys.
yeah, no,
No, because actually I kind of agree with you on this one, going through something similar at the moment, but it's all a timing issue. Because we're applying for a variance now, correct?
yeah, but once, so Sarah, once your variance is applied for and approved, typically that happens, it may go out 3 or 4 months, most times because I've switched up the schedule here and in other towns where I won't even put it on the docket for planning or zoning until after it's been sent through the county. Dan copied, county copied, and we get their review. Used to be where people would get on the docket for planning or zoning, they'd come to the meeting, and then the board would have to base their decision on what the county says, because the county hadn't met yet. So what I've done is I switched the schedule around so that they don't get on the local docket until after the county sees it. So that shortens up that timepiece, okay? But yeah, like with what you're doing, with your stuff,
But for example, for time-wise, we looked into doing that project last fall. I got quotes to do this project last fall, but I waited to apply for the variance until we
Right.
knew we were getting closer. I knew we were, after a little while, we figured out winter was coming, we're too late. So we waited till spring to apply for it. You know, you're just basically saying, once you get that, you gotta show some sort of moving forward with the project within the year.
for the building permit.
For the building
part of it.
permit, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's more than.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you have to break ground.
Correct, you just have to
You show you're moving forward.
get your plans, get,
yeah.
you know, you're right, the whole thing does take longer than it used to take, but it's a timing issue of, you don't wanna apply for your variance until you've got some information in your hands anyways.
Did you assume you would get the variance granted, or what happens if people?
Well, I won't do anything until I have my variance, but I gathered up I did way more information gathering, planning ahead of time, basically, so I didn't waste their time, and so they're not wasting my time back and forth. So I mean, obviously, if I don't get the variance, I'm not gonna do it, but
And
no
likewise,
money has been spent, just my time.
and likewise, Kevin, I can't issue any building, if it's a building permit, like with Sarah. If there's a building permit that's tied to this variance, I won't issue any building permits until the variance.
Till the variance goes through.
Or like myself, I'm looking to do a variance. So I have to show them what I want for a building, show them where it's gonna go. So I gotta do some homework before I can apply for that variance. I just can't go down and say, Kevin, I want a variance. And he's gonna go down. They need some information from us. So I gotta put a little bit of effort into it, and then Kevin's got something to take to the planning board.
How
So
much-
they got something to look at.
Do you have a lot of cost, initial setup costs, or stuff like that?
Kevin, you want a basic cost, right, in the variance?
The variance
Plan.
itself, so we have our application fees for the
Yep.
variance. I don't, say for instance, with the, if there's a new survey involved. What I tell folks is don't go paying your surveyor yet. We can work with a initial prelim plot plan is what they call it, which is a sketch with dimensions on it. Because if somebody applies to planning or zoning board and they've already spent the money on a surveyor and the board says, no, we can't do this, I don't want them to tie up that kind of money. So what we're allowed to do is we're allowed to work with a sketch plan, then get the approval, and then the person goes and hires their surveyor. That's really that's the big nut right there as far as costs go. And then there's the application fees.
So really, this really doesn't, it's pretty painless in one sense, that the only thing it's really doing for us, so if somebody that has a variance out for 10 years and decide, okay, now I'm gonna do this, and even though some of our stuff has changed, but I got the variance, and that is a legal variance.
That I understand. Okay,
So
that's
that's
not
what we're
too far
asking
the
to
other
do,
way,
yeah.
okay? Just threw it out there, the 12 months to me was just,
Does it make sense now? Or do you like to see something different?
I don't know. I'd like to talk with, you gotta go to local law on this, right?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to decide this tonight, but we have to get it out and start the process.
It's okay, we'll get the process. I'd like to meet with Code
Okay.
Officer McMahon separately.
All right, so next month we'll plan on finalizing it, and then the month after we'll have to have a public hearing and do it the correct way.
Yeah.
But
That's fine.
so a lot of this stuff, even though I put on here a vote, but that's, eventually that means we have to vote on it. So if we need more information, we get more information,
Those
yes.
not the privilege of the floor, just a question. What happens with existing variances? Are they is the clock going to start on anything that's existing? Or is it just retroactive moving forward for anything that comes to the board from here on out?
It would be moving forward, so, because we can't impact any prior issued variances. So it would just be from the date that the zoning was amended forward.
Are there a lot of,
I was gonna say,
are there a lot of them sitting out there?
No. No, typically what I find is when the variances are applied for, folks much like yourselves have already got the wheels in motion to do whatever the project is that they're doing. So, no, I can't think of any, quite honestly, that we have right now for the town. If they come around, would you say you can?
I can.
Okay.
You're sitting on one.
So got two. So there, take that.
And I wanna talk to you then too. All right, I appreciate that. I would like to.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll table that till next month. Okay, so Lon's around the hot seat here. So we got fee schedules for permits. So now we looked at this, I believe it was 4 or 5 years ago. Wasn't it? Does it seem like
All
that?
of 3 or 4, yeah.
So I think we owe it to the town board and everybody to relook at this. I'm not saying we gotta raise fees or anything. But part of my thought process was, as you know, we're going into some serious, sales tax negotiations, and we are gonna lose money. That's a given, we're gonna lose money on our sales tax, so we gotta be looking in different areas to help offset some of that. And part of that is our fees are extremely lower than anybody else's. And again, I'm not saying we have to change it, but I just thought the town board needs to look at everything and whatever we decide. Now, I think we need to look at it tonight, talk about it, and then come back next month. I'm not asking for a vote on this tonight because you're just seeing it for the first time, but I want to get some clarification. So Kevin, I don't know if you want to go through it, or Dan, or one of you.
No, I will, Mike. First, I apologize for the tiny font, but I tried to make it fit on one page so that you're not flipping back and forth. Basically, just a snapshot of the 4 municipalities that I myself do, and then I added the Village of Marathon just because Adam, our deputy code officer, does the Village of Marathon as well. So just to give some comparisons on the sheet showing how the permit fees are designed. Basically, what's happened over time is we've kind of come to a formula that seems to work best in most of the other townships, where a lot of things are built either on a square foot cost, commercial or residential, or on a cost per project basis. So what happened was, when I sat down with the folks in Portlandville a few years ago, I was asked to put together something other than this. They had, I think, 5 pages of different fees at that point in time. Not much different than Virgil, they had 5 or 6 pages of fees. And separating things out like fences from wood stoves, from pools to above ground to in ground to this and that. And therefore, the design of a base fee plus a cost of, well, the base fee normally is, as you can see on this sheet with the tiny print, is $60 base fee, $2 per thousand. What that does is that covers the accessory items, I'll call them. Those that don't fit into a normal build for new or remodel, where we can just put together, when folks come in and fill out their building permits, they give me their cost of what it is they think it's gonna cost them, whether they're doing it themselves or hiring it done. We take this $2 per thousand, add it on to $60, just to come up with a permit fee. That covers the vast majority of the permits that I write. Even in, so Portlandville being my main town, where compared to Homer, where I'll write roughly 40 permits a year, Portlandville will do 150 to 200 a year. We designed this square foot number for new construction, whether it's commercial or residential, so many cents per square foot, okay? The big one that I would really like to see the board do some movement on before we start getting hit with solar activity are the solar, commercial solar farm fees. What we came up with there was a cost, not per megawatt, but per square foot of panel being used. So there's no getting slick and slippery with developers saying, oh, it's only going to be $100,000 and it's a $3 million bill. The point is, it's based on square foot of the panels, which comes through in plans that they provide me to do the permit approval on. So there's different rates of costs there, whether it's residential or commercial. If it's commercial, Cortlandville decided for whatever reason beyond me to charge depending on the size of the solar field. So I would ask you guys to take a look at that.
Right now, you think we're too low, or we're simply not keeping up with a huge project?
Way too low.
Got it.
I've seen these solar, so these solar fields have come into play, before I started here full time. We had some of my other towns, and the fees were hardly covered the cost of my time doing inspections and stuff like that. The point is that, like right now, well, last year, the year before, I permitted 5 solar fields in Cortlandville. Not to say that's going to happen here, but just to give you an example, that by itself brought the town somewhere in the area of $40,000 in permit fees, just from the commercial solar stuff. There's a lot more involved than that, but just to give you an example.
So once again, is that at 10 cents per square foot, or I see they've got some other things written for Cortlandville?
Yeah, they have a varying, this scale hit the board's table to approve since, well, I've got one in motion right now, 3 more coming for Cortlandville, but this scale, they put into gear just probably a year and a half ago. Normally, we're not going to see, even with what I see proposed here to come into Homer, I don't see 25 meg plus size solar fields. Most of them that I've been dealing with run between 4 to 7 megs of size. But it's something I think the board should give some serious thought to, because again, there's fee money that could come with that. So that's a big one to pay attention to. The other thing that I noticed with the town, a couple things that jumped out at me was, let's see, our subdivision and ZBA fees are below average of some of the other towns. May want to give consideration to changing those. So that, and the other one that jumped out at me, all my other towns have a non-permit certificate of compliance, which means if somebody comes and they need a C of C issued instead of a C of O, these other towns are able to charge $100 for that piece of paper for the certificate of compliance. Again, normal operating procedure. We don't have anything like that at home. So I would suggest maybe taking a look at that. Again, Cortlandville is a hard one to compare to because it's like a different level. So don't get too hung up on their fees because they make really crazy money when it comes to
A little hard for us to truly comprehend what is, how to compare $150 to $10 to 10 cents per square foot. My question to you, do you feel that 10 cents per square foot would be a little more in line with what we should be doing here?
completely, a lot more in line, but quite honestly. What we did initially was we had the township set up the first time when we went to the square foot fee in Cortlandville was to charge 10 cents to the commercial outfits because there was so much square footage and 20 cents to the residential because those are smaller in nature.
Got it.
Usually, roof mounts or ground mounts or whatever are gonna run, 3 kW or whatever. Whereas these other ones are megawatts, so, that would be worth considering. It's up to you guys if you wanna take a look at their sliding scale. My concern is, again, I just got the site plan for, and we have a discussion about one coming in at 5 megawatts. And we still don't know when the other shoe's gonna drop for the EDF multi-town facility. So even though the state takes lead on that because it crosses township lines, the towns are still allowed to take their own permit fees to permit their section of those fees. And if that one comes through, EDF Renewables up there near landfill, that's going to be significant. It's going to be significant. So I would just ask that you guys give that some serious thought.
Kevin, would it be too much to ask you, would you have time and be willing to develop us a fee schedule and put what you think is a fair schedule so that we have the actual hard numbers to look at?
Yeah, I thought probably with this here, I'd at least show you what's current with the other ones.
Right, but then if you could do us something, email it to me and I'll get it to the board so that way next month, I think it'll be easier if you make a recommendation, this is what a fair cost for the town hall to charge.
Be more
And at least, I think that'll help clarify it, am I right?
Sure.
You see something?
Yeah.
And then we can talk about it, and again, I'm not saying we have to approve it, but at least we have some good numbers to look at.
Right.
I think it'd be easier.
Yep.
If you could do that for
most
us.
certainly do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we do have a solar one that's coming in, and a month ago, there was 2 solar things that approached that there was a potential of coming in the home.
Yes.
So one just talked to Kevin on that.
As of yesterday, correct.
And the other one, we haven't heard back yet, but I don't know if that'll come to fruition or not, but we don't know.
Right. Which, not to change the subject, but I'm gonna respond back to this developer their question has to do with what's their next step to get their foot in the door with Homer. And I didn't know whether it made sense, Dan, to let them do a presentation to this board here first before going to planning board, or just send them to planning board first. Because they want to come in like yesterday.
Personally, my feeling is they go to the planning board. That's
Yeah.
what we have a planning board
Yeah.
for. And
Typically,
let
that's
them-
what it's gonna be, but I know sometimes there's projects that make sense just to let them do their sales pitch to the town board, but I don't.
Why don't we do a joint thing and then just open it up, let them go to the planning board, and any town board member that wants to go can hear the same pitch?
Okay.
Does that make sense? Are you guys all right with that?
Yeah.
We don't make any decisions, correct?
No, the planning board does.
The planning board is, you guys make the ironclad decision, the planning board gives you they can't make rules, they just make the recommendations to you guys. So that's why I wanted, and I think Mike's got the right idea of doing, kind of hit both teams at the same time, this is just an overview, just kind of first blush of what they want to do and where they want to do it, so.
You guys okay with that part of it?
Yes.
Okay, so Kevin, thank you. So you'll put together a fee schedule for us so we have something to look at?
Sure.
And then you're gonna talk to Mike on the planning to.
Yep.
And just let them know when they schedule it, get it out to us, and any of us that want to attend, we'll attend it as a joint.
Anytime I would advise, it'd be a great idea.
Yep.
Quite honestly, because like I say, sooner or later, it comes back to you guys, even if it's it'll come through from planning board and their recommends or whatever.
And we need an education on that too, because we haven't dealt with it that often.
We have not dealt with it yet. And I will tell you too that I have one in Portland that's being problematic. And we'll just say that they're not following the stormwater plan the way they should be, so.
Should we hurry up and change our fees here? Because
We have to do it the right way. I don't even want to try to make a decision tonight. Nobody's seeing it. We've really got to let's put some thought in and do it the right way.
Yeah.
We'll have the fees in front of us.
Yeah.
We'll tag in next month, okay?
But more sooner than later, Barry.
I hear you.
And answer your question, yes.
Yeah, I don't want to drag it out for a year, but I
Well, I
think.
guess my question is, because we got some interested parties right now, would this be a good time to change the fees?
Just, if I can, Kevin, areas of interest, I wrote them down, commercial solar farm fees.
Yep.
ZBA fees.
Yep.
Subdivisions, and the certificates of compliance were areas of interest.
Those, I think Kevin jumped out at me the most when I put everything into this tiny print.
Okay.
That and just kind of getting rid of some other, I didn't put all of them on this sheet because each town has usually 2 pages of different fees. So I took the most common, most important ones, okay?
Alright.
Yeah.
Thanks. Quick question, it looks like we budgeted 5,000 for building permits, and it's gone down, has our revenue gone down for permitting? And I'm looking at our revenue line for building permits. 2022 was 10,400, 2023 was 9,860, and as of September, we had $3,000. We budgeted, 5,000 for 2025. Are we trending down?
Everybody's trending down a little bit, Kevin. I get to see it first.
Okay.
But it's still early in the year, so
Okay.
don't count your chickens yet. Yeah,
Okay.
it's very early in the year.
He's going by what we have budgeted in the budget, but again, we try to build a very realistic budget and not
Yes.
overstate it.
Yes, yes.
So I mean, we could hope we got 20,000 in. but-
Understood, but it did look like it was trending down.
It is.
It is with everybody. So,
New York State's losing population, I mean.
So last comment I have about solar and farms, of all the meetings and all the thousands of hours that I've given and all the places I went to talk about it, I still don't know what the town of Homer Board is gonna decide on, so I'd like to know that too. I don't know what decisions we make, because it's all been taken away from us by New York State.
Right, but this is, some of the small ones, we do have some local economy on that. that we can make some decisions, and I'm hoping this is small enough that we do have some control. New York State, I mean, we have spent a lot of time in meetings over the last 4 years, and then New York State just come in and wiped it right out and took everything away from us. Okay, so thank you. Anything else you want to add, Kevin?
Not unless people have questions for me, I'm more than happy to answer questions.
What's it looking like in the town for building permits and stuff this year? I mean, things,
Everybody's starting out slow, Mike.
yeah,
Everybody. I like I say, normally in Cortlandville, I'll rate 150 to 200 permits a year, and I think I just issued today permit number 15 maybe.
so my observation earlier was correct about being able to put this out to bid, and we should be okay.
Yeah. So, I don't think it's doomsday or anything like that. It's just the year,
Yeah.
all the uncertainty and that too. So, yeah, other than that, no, I'm happy to answer any questions. Everybody's got, hopefully, my cell phone. You can call me anytime. So, and Kevin, whenever you want to meet, I'm here every day, no, so.
You got it.
Okay. I don't eat lunch, but thank you anyway.
How about that sausage? You got any of that?
All right, thank you, Kevin.
Certainly.
Thank you. All right, so on to our next one on here, I got building committee. So what we need to do, what I want to do is, we got to form a building committee. As we're getting close, we're going to have to be making some decisions. We have to meet with our engineers and architects. So I wanted to form a little committee, a building committee, because there's going to be stuff coming in that we're going to work like the clerk of the works, because there are going to be decisions going to need to be made as long as we're going through the process, just like the last time. So part of the building committee is, I definitely want to be on that. Barry, I asked Barry if he would be on it because he's been very involved in our buildings and he knows this building inside and out. I asked Chief Pittman to be part of that committee because 2/3 of this building is going to be the police department. So if there's decisions in the police department, who better to help make those decisions when they need minor stuff, like a door location is get moved 2 inches, 3 inches, or the color of a cabinet or something. Pat Clune, the mayor, asked me if he could be on that. I put Fred down just because he's got such an interest and this project started under his, when he was supervisor. But if there's anybody else on the board, I would like to be that, or if you think somebody else should be on that, or if you think somebody on there shouldn't be on that.
So the committee is Chief Pittman, Barry Warren, Council Mike, Park Supervisor Pat Clune, Village Mayor, and Fred Forbes,
Yeah,
Retired Supervisor.
is everybody good with that?
Do you need motion?
Do you need
to
more?
create ad hoc?
Yeah, why don't we have a motion and made an official committee?
Did you want more?
Do you need more people?
You can be on that. I was hoping you would be on our comprehensive plan, but you can be on both.
No, I can do that. That's fine.
Okay, I don't want to overload anybody, but you're welcome to be on this. I mean, this isn't, if you want to be on this, you're welcome to be on it.
No, that's fine.
And of course, Kevin is going to be part of it. We're going to be talking with Kevin all through this process because he's our building guy. So you're making the motion, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Create a motion to create the committee with the following people on it for the building renovation for the town of Homer. Chief Pittman, Barry Warren, Mike Park, Pat Clune, and Fred Forbes.
Second.
Don't forget Caleb.
No, Caleb's a no-go.
No, declined, I'm sorry. Yep.
I'll second that.
Is there a second that? Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, carried. So. And again, I'll be the point person because I've been talking with these guys all along, so as soon as we're gonna have to have a meeting coming up, probably, I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks. The whole board will be in on final plan approval and stuff, so that's not being taken away. I just wanted this committee to make the little decisions. And like Barry was very involved when they were doing this, this window here, what is this window gonna look like? You can't keep going back, we gotta make instant decisions, so that's why I wanted that little committee.
Probably your construction crew will have questions also, and it'll be nice to have a group of people that are available to answer those.
So, needed to get that form. So we're getting closer. So then the other one is the comprehensive plan. So we have two things with the comprehensive plan. Does everybody have the Toma development? That paper right there? So we've been meeting with Toma, we debriefed with the state, we had Toma come back in. We talked to Rich Cunningham, that road gas, we sat down in this room because I wanted to know what we were gonna do, what was the plan, and then more importantly, what's this gonna cost us to reapply? So we had like an hour conversation. The state said we had a good plan, we need to beef it up, they suggested where to beef it up, we met with Rich, he agrees. But we're gonna change our strategy a little bit, so he's gonna, if we approve this, this is our cost. If we approve this, we're gonna get started on it, but then we're gonna form another subcommittee, and they're gonna come back to that subcommittee so we can answer more questions. That was a step that I don't think was done, it wasn't done the last time, and the state said we need to do that. I think it'll strengthen our position with that. So if we approve to have Toma start rewriting it, it usually takes 2 to 3 times to get these grants. I think the village, you applied twice?
Yeah, we got one.
Yeah, but how many times did you apply to get it?
Can't remember.
I think Rich said 2 or 3 times.
Oh,
So it's
probably
not
at least.
unusual that the first time you don't get it. The one thing that I found astonishing, the state said, you didn't ask for enough money. We didn't ask them for enough money to write this, and Rich is there, but we're well covered with that. They said, no, you didn't ask for enough money. It just blew my mind. So, okay, you wanna,
And
Be a little more wasteful, please.
yeah, I know. So what we have on here, the following is Toma Development Consultant's written proposal to provide grant writing services related to resubmission of a smart road planning grant to be submitted to the New York State Department of State for preparation of a new town comprehensive plan. We propose providing services on an hourly basis not to exceed $1,000 for the application preparation. And then this is his breakdown. We're gonna be responsible for 10%, just like we were the last time. So if he spent $1,000, we're on the hook for $100. So I'd like a motion to approve this so we can get this moving. So if somebody can make a motion on that, if you would.
I'll make a motion to approve the, utilizing Toma Development Consultants to help reapply for the comprehensive plan,
And not to exceed 1,000.
not to exceed $1,000.
Second.
Second on that. Any other discussion? Dan, is there anything you want to say on that? Okay. That you authorize me to, can you add to your motion that you authorize the supervisor to sign?
And add to authorize Supervisor Part to,
Sign it.
sign the agreement.
Agreed. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. So now, talking with them, and now when we met with Tom, I have Mike McMahon here, myself, Fred Sadin in on it. Mike being on our planning committee because really the comprehensive plan really involves the planning committee. So what we need, there's gonna be 2 committees for them, but right now we need a little subcommittee. My recommendation is Mike McMahon. I'd like to see Caleb be part of that committee, even Sarah, because they're gonna ask questions on where we want the town to go in the future. So this is just gonna be the start of it, and anybody else that would like to be on that committee in this room. Does any other board member like to be on that, or
Yeah, I
would you
would.
like? And that's only gonna be 1 or 2 meetings, they'll be very short meetings. Then if we get the grant, then that'll be a lot bigger committee. It'll consist of 1 or 2 board members, definitely our planning board, definitely our lawyer, a couple lay people, probably somebody from the village, because our comprehensive plan is gonna affect everybody. So it's gonna be a broad based to develop that. We have a lot of questions. Where do we see the village in 10 years? So forth. So I just need this mini committee set up because that's one of the things that we need to be getting with Toma. So do you guys agree to be part of that?
Yep. Sounds
How
good.
many board members is that, Mike? Just don't put more than 2 on that.
No, there's only Caleb
Okay.
Sarah.
And
and
Sarah.
Sarah.
Okay, perfect.
I put my name down in case nobody else wanted to do it. I would
Okay.
just as soon stay off that. Mike McMahon will be part of it. And we could ask if we want to have more. I think 3 would be enough to get this process started, but if you guys want another person on there, give me a name and we can ask. Doesn't have to be a board member. If you guys are all right with that, we'll move forward with that. Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that we form the comprehensive committee to consist of Mike McMahon, Caleb Leach, and Sarah Hill.
Can you say preliminary committee? It's not the real
Yes.
one, right?
Yep, you're right. Do you have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried. So Caleb, I'll probably get that turned over to you and let you head that one up, so that I'll get them emailing you when they wanna get together and stuff, so I'll be
Okay.
CC'd on it, but if you don't mind doing
Great.
that.
Yep.
It's not that I don't want you to do it, but we'll get our three of you on, I know you got a lot going on too, you both do, so on that. Okay, any other questions on that one? So the last thing before I turn it over to Dan, you see the last thing on our agenda says 60-day check. So I know that's probably, what does that mean? So we have checks out there that the town of Homer writes, and people aren't cashing, even businesses. And they're open-ended, and that's becoming a very difficult situation to balance the checkbooks for the clerks, and we were rolled up on it in the past. So they did reach out to one company, said, you didn't cash the check. Well, they come back and said, well, we didn't know we had a bill with you. And then they said, and then, am I right? And then they said, well, we want to get paid for this, so now we want a check, but we already issued them a check. So now our process is, we gotta call the bank, put a stop payment on it, because we have to have a paper trail for the state, or else we'll get rolled up on it. I talked to Clint Brooks, the president of the Dryden Bank, and asked what other municipalities were doing, and can we put a 60-day limit on the check? So if that check ain't cashed in 60 days, it becomes null and void. It's not that we won't pay a vendor, but they'll have to come back to us, and then we can get it off our books. Makes it simple. I was thinking 30 days, we can do 30, 60, or 90. Clint recommended 60. I think the girls think 60, and I kind of agree with that. 30 days is really cutting it, because sometimes in 30 days, a business sometimes doesn't turn them around, but 60 days should be fair. I just wanted the board approval that we go ahead, put that on our checks, and we make that part of our policy. Dan, I know this was sprung on you tonight, I didn't have a chance to run it by you. This just came up in the last 2 days. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, if it helps the town out administratively with its books, absolutely.
Do they not receive a check again? They don't get another opportunity if they don't cash it?
We'll reissue them a check, but this way we can, right now, we have no means of taking it off unless we cancel the check.
So you could rewrite the check if you had to?
Yeah.
Got it, I see what you're saying.
Is it just avoiding paying of the cancellation fee? Is that?
Well, the cancellation fee would keep people from sitting on it. We have some other checks that we write and they'll sit on it for 6 months before they cash it. We need to get that cleared up faster. Because the state, when they audit you on all that stuff and we get dinged for it. So we're just trying to tighten up another part of our process.
Because I can say legit, I mean, with the US Postal Service and holidays, it's not uncommon for stuff to show up a few weeks, so I don't think 30 days is good. 60 is probably.
60, right, and that's why I agree, that's why I got a 60-day check thing there.
So will we have to change that on the checks?
Yeah, they'll just print it on our checks, so our next batch of checks, but maybe, because Dryden does print our checks, they maybe ought to run them back through and put that right on there. But I wanted to make that a policy, so the town of Homer, and again, if somebody has a check and it's over 60 days, we're not looking to rook them, we'll rewrite the check, but it gives us a clear way of taking the check off the system. I know in my business, I get a lot of checks that have that on there, 60-day or 90 days. If it ain't cash, check is null and void.
Who's responsible for removing it from the payables? So then what would you guys do? Void the check?
I think that's what we got written up last time, because it looked like a double payment. Somebody said, we lost a check.
I remember, yeah, it was.
So that's, one idea that Fred had said, maybe we have the bank write the check. Like this one I called on was back from September. So he didn't even know we didn't pay the check or pay the bill.
Mm-hmm.
So.
The company didn't know they got the check.
He didn't know if it was paid or unpaid, and then when he went back, he said, oh, I see, we don't have anything.
So who's the,
So
I
we
guess,
don't know where the check is.
you don't know anything, right, but
Lost.
it's still showing in your paid, in your uncleared checks,
Outstanding,
correct?
yes.
Okay, so when you do that, you're gonna have to either delete the check or void the check. Do we need approval to do that? Or is the bank just gonna see 60 days and they're gonna be responsible for just,
Right.
they're gonna bounce the check if it comes in after 60 days?
60 days, they won't accept it because it's got the 60
It'll be
days
that-
and they
it'll be
match the
that
date up.
Are they willing to do that?
Yes. That's why I talked to the Clint Brooks, the president of the Drive Bank. And he said it's standard procedures. They have a lot of checks that are wrote that way.
So then your policy is as soon as 61 days comes in, any checks that are in the previous reconciliation are immediately going to be voided or
They're no longer able to be cashed. That's how we understand it.
do we have unclaimed fund issues then? Okay, do we need to report to the comptroller?
It'll be recorded. We gotta figure out all the little nuances, but this is step one.
Okay, no, that's fine, it's fine, I just, like I say, there's a lot of,
Yeah, and most people are gonna come forward and say, hey, my check isn't clear now, and they wanna be, and get the check out there, but it cleans up our system for us, because it is, when you get them hanging out there, and then, like I said, when we get audited, they look at all that, well, why is this check out there? What are you doing? Why aren't you?
understood. I just don't wanna have to send it to unclaimed funds.
No, we're not looking to do that. And we'll reach out to somebody too, if we see the check, just like they did here, you know, why didn't you cash it? We're not looking to rook anybody, but we're trying to clean our system up. So I need a motion for that, because I wanna make it official part of our town procedure.
Make the
Not
motion.
me, I have
I'll
no
make
clue
a
what I'm
motion.
talking about.
I'll make the motion that we add a 60-day, 60 days to our current checks so that the checks are void after 60 days and have to be reissued.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion?
Could you rubber stamp those? I mean, is that one way of doing it?
I'd have to see I don't know if that's legal, it might be, but I think we go through checks pretty quick around here, so I don't think it'll take very long.
Well, I feel like once the vendors know that that's the case, anybody that purposefully sits on will stop.
Mhm.
The ones that get lost in the mail get lost in the mail, and that happens all the time. But at least there's a time frame, and you don't have to go and pay the.
Right, it's $35 to stop
$35,
paying
yeah, I
them and
know.
all that, so we got a motion, we got a second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Okay, so Dan, any updates?
No, I'm all set. The two things I wanted to bring up were the IMA for the contribution to the village fire truck and the variance time limit, so I'm good.
Just, that was a good idea, the shared services agreement to deal with that slash
Yeah,
contribution.
Yeah.
That was good.
Anything else from the board, anybody?
This is like I say, the taxes, I don't know. Yeah, we don't want.
Meeting's adjourned, thank you.
Thank you.